when I was 18 years old, I had to make the hard decision of deciding whether I should go all in on mastering the skill of sales or go all in on mastering the skill of marketing. My goal was to make millions of dollars at a young age, become an entrepreneur, create a life of freedom, not end up in the 9 to 5. And I ended up making that decision after a lot of back and forth. I bought different mentorships, bought different just like consulting calls with different high level people. I watched a bunch of YouTube videos, and read a bunch of stuff online to make this decision. Now, a couple of years later, I picked one of these skills to build a life of complete freedom where I can travel the world and make well over $20,000 every single month at 22 years old. And I built the life that I used to dream of, and I also guaranteed my income for the rest of my life. And in this video, I want to explain exactly how I made that decision to ultimately change my life and pick the right skill for me to learn, so you can take away from this to actually have a framework to look through. Because I see a lot of guys that I talk with right now, and probably you watching this video right now, it's like you're trying to decide, okay, you have these goals of making a lot of money, you want to become an entrepreneur, you want to make millions of dollars at a young age, but which skill should you put all of your time, energy, and focus into learning? Is it sales or is it marketing? Okay, these are the best two skills to learn at a young age to start making money and start building wealth for yourself. But which one should you pick? Because like doing both at the same time is not the right thing to do at all. Like, and I made a mistake myself of trying to get into the online business game by starting my own marketing agency, and it kept me stuck and broke for a long time because I was just trying to learn like all these different skills at the same time. And then eventually I got to a point where I was like, okay, I have to pick one skill. I have to pick either going all in on sales or marketing. I realized that was the way for me to succeed. And it's very hard to make that call. So that's why it's like talk to you here like one-on-one. So if you can't just handle like a raw, unedited video and you can't just lock in and listen to this, you have like a TikTok brain and you need to just get dopamine hits, click off this right now. You're probably not the right guy for my channel. You're probably not going to succeed in online business, to be quite honest with you. Like, you need to actually be able to lock in and focus if you want to have any chance of succeeding in this online space whatsoever. But if that's you, if you can actually lock in and focus, stay with me, because I'm going to share some game and some stuff that I wish I knew when I started off. I'm just going to talk as if I'm talking to my old version of myself. So you're watching this right now, regardless if you're 16, 17, 20, 25, 27 years old, you will get a framework to follow for how to actually decide which skill you should learn to achieve your goal, okay? And it all comes down to understanding, like, what is your long-term vision? Like, what do you actually want? I knew from a young age, like, I couldn't see myself taking a traditional path. When I was a small kid with my parents, I didn't grow up particularly, like, wealthy and everything. My parents had, like, normal 9 to 5 jobs for making, I don't know, like, between, like, $3,000 to $5,000 a month, like my mom and dad. So we went on some vacations. We had, like, an okay life. We're never like broke or anything, but I always knew I wanted to have like more. I always had like kind of that voice inside of my head, like I wanted to have like a life of freedom. I want to be able to eventually retire my parents. I want to be able to travel way more. I want to be able to not have to live in Sweden during the winters, because if you don't know about Sweden, it's very dark here in the winters. I don't like being here in the winters, so I want to be able to like always be somewhere else, not live with my parents. Right now I'm actually home visiting my parents, but I didn't want to be tied here, and right now I'm home here like visiting for fun, but back then I was just like tied to living here because I couldn't move anywhere else. I set these goals of like creating life of freedom, never ending up in 9 to 5. So that was the first thing. I was very clear on the fact that in order for me to achieve my goals of building this life, retiring my parents, making a lot of money, driving my dream car, living my dream apartment, etc., I need to make a lot of money. Not just like $10,000 a month, but probably 100K, even a mil per month. That was like something I realized pretty early. And then I realized, okay, if I want to get there, what do I need to develop? Like, what skills do I need to learn to get to that point? I realized I probably need to become an entrepreneur. Like most people that make a lot of money, they're business owners. They know they have a business. What does every single successful business owner know? They know how to lead people. They know communication at a very high level. They know how to influence others, and they know how to close deals. Okay, this is a very fundamental understanding that I had to like kind of learn like when making this decision, whether I should go with marketing or sales. Because here's the thing, like I'm not trying to like shit on marketing or anything. Marketing, super, super important skill. I believe that once you know how to sell, you should learn marketing to make more money. That's how you kind of like, you multiply the skill of sales when you learn marketing. But if you're right now watching this video and you don't know how to sell, I'll just tell you this, please do yourself a favor, go out and learn how to sell. Because sales changed my life completely. I I was super bad at communicating. I was very, very shy, very, very like insecure. Just being real with you, I was very like insecure internally about like self-belief, believing in my own ability to do things, talking with people, challenging people, like conversations in general. I had a very like I watched back some old videos of myself. I was very like weak in how I used to speak before. Now I talk way more, with way more conviction, way more confidence. I've closed over $3 million personally. I've taken thousands of sales calls. I've talked with so many people. I can show up and I can challenge people that are like 30, 40, 50 years old, business owners. I'm not afraid to do any of these different things. I can lead people at a very high level. I can challenge people. I can shift people's beliefs. I can understand human psychology. And all this stuff came not from me sitting down in front of my computer and learning marketing and doing like writing copy or coming up with creatives or making video scripts or anything like that. It came from me sitting and taking sales call after sales call and just doing those reps, getting rejected, learning how to talk to people, changing people's beliefs, overcoming objections, reframing how people make decisions, that kind of stuff, you know? And that is why I believe, to answer your question that you came to this video to get answered, that you, if you don't know how to sell, and I'm talking about like if you're not making over $10,000 a month right now from sales, learn that skill. Like please take that away from this video, is that that's gonna set you up. It might not be like, maybe you can find some way you can make like a shit ton of money doing marketing right now, maybe like in the next couple of months, maybe TikTok shop or whatever, you know? But if you are just like me, you want to guarantee long-term success for yourself. You're not in this game to make $10,000 this month and then go broke. You actually want to guarantee long-term success. You're not just looking for like a meme coin that's going to blow up and then disappear. If you're in this game for the long term, to actually build long-term wealth, become wealthy for yourself, for your family, for your future kids, be able to lead a family, lead your future kids, everything. You need to know how to lead people. You need to know how to sell, how human psychology works. And you need to develop your ability to communicate, okay? I see way too many people, like 16, 17, 18-year-olds who are learning the skill of marketing, they're learning copywriting or whatever, you know? But they're sitting in their, like, in their room, in their parents' house, and they're sitting there and like learning the skill and making some money from it. But they don't know how to speak. They can't even like articulate properly what they do and tell other people and close clients. You know, they've learned the skill of marketing, but they seem completely like incompetent when they're on sales calls because they don't know how to speak properly, you know? So again, I want to be clear, I'm not hating on this skill, because marketing is a very important skill that I've started learning now at this point, has helped me massively to scale my income as well. But you need to start off with knowing how to sell, because that's what developing the fundamental confidence in you as a man that's going to allow you to lead your family, lead a future business, become a proper entrepreneur, and actually develop, oh shit, I'm kicking my camera now, to develop actual confidence that's going to allow you to like ultimately achieve your long-term goals. Like I would never be making the type of money I'm making right now, have the same amount of confidence I have right now, have the like the connections, the personal brand that I've built, if I didn't know how to sell, okay? I could have studied marketing for all this time, but I wouldn't have gotten to this point where I'm as certain in myself, I have a guaranteed income, because like at this point, like with anything could happen, like AI could just blow up, and like I'm still gonna have a guaranteed income for the next like 10, 20, 30, 40 years, because I've learned how human psychology works. I've gotten good at the skill of sales, you know? And you can do the exact same thing if you just understand it. Yeah, like marketing is super attractive. You can sit in your room and just like make a lot of money doing it. Yeah, but is that actually what you want? Do you actually want to be that guy that's just like sat in your room in front of your computer, hitting your keyboard and like knowing all these different words to put in and blah, 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 but you can't properly communicate, you can't properly speak? Or do you want to be the guy that's actually able to speak properly, you can communicate properly, you can persuade other people, you can lead a room, you can like do those different things? Like it should be pretty obvious, you know, because it's becoming a way more important skill, especially now with a lot of people is like sitting in front of their computers, never going out, never socializing. Like you need to know those like social skills and like how to actually influence human beings by the way you speak is extremely important. And not only that, but when you learn how to sell, sales is a lot about personal development as well. The best sales reps are usually people that have gone through a lot amount of personal development. You know, like I had to level up a lot as a person. I had to start treating myself to higher standards. In order for you to be able to show up to a sales call and challenge someone else, I had to start leveling up myself, had to better my routines, get in better shape, be able to change my decision-making patterns, you know, and leveling up and removing limiting beliefs, and is leveling up in all areas of my life in order to show up as a good salesperson, you know? You don't really need to do that same stuff in marketing. Marketing is just like you're sitting in front of a computer, doing whatever you're doing, learning and like the different writing out scripts, learning different copywriting principles, etc. It doesn't require you to change and level up as a human being, which is again why I think sales is where you need to start. Because if you learn sales, if you learn how to develop yourself and get into personal development and become more certain person developing conviction, then adding on the skill of marketing comes way more naturally. But if you start with marketing and then try to get into sales, it's just harder for you to do. Okay? So that's just like a rant from me, guys, because this stuff that really like has impacted me a lot. And I've seen a lot of guys that just make this mistake of getting into marketing when in reality they need to actually build a skill. If you want to guarantee long-term success, build a skill of knowing how to communicate. Learn how to speak properly. And I promise you, like whatever you decide to get into, if you want to get into a coaching business or get into real estate or get into consulting business or agency, like everything becomes easy when you know how to sell. Building a personal brand, like everything becomes easy when you know how to communicate your ideas and what you want and get other people to like win other people over to your way of thinking. You know, it all comes naturally when you know how to speak, when you learn and dealt with rejection and you develop that ability to sell. So get into sales, learn the skill. I promise you, you will not regret this. And life kind of gets on easy mode when you actually learn this. You can influence friends, family, customers, make more money. If you want to learn this stuff, I have a community where I place guys that I've personally trained into sales roles. So if you want to get trained by me to actually learn the skill set, get coached one-on-one to actually get good at sales and get placed directly into really, really good appointment setting or closing roles from my network, I can help you from my network. I've helped a bunch of guys through there. So if you're someone who feel like you would do well in sales, you like communicating, you like talking with people over sales calls, you want to be able to get into high ticket sales, which is basically where you take sales calls for influencers and close deals on their behalf, make money while doing so, which is what I've been doing the last 3 years. If you want to do that, you can apply down below. We can call if you think you do well in this. We can have a call, see if you can actually be a good fit for my community, if I can actually help you out. If you have any questions, DM me on Instagram. I'm rooting for you and I want you to learn sales so you can actually develop true wealth in your life. That's what this channel is all about. I'm not here to get rich quick. I'm here for myself and also for you guys to build long-term wealth and learning the skills to get you there. So let's get this. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Ciao.